Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. Today, America celebrates its 245th year of independence. But are we telling the entire truth of 1776? And the question is for Christians, to me, Christians. Why aren't we telling the entire truth, and why aren't we willing to tell the entire truth? Now, before we get into it, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. Now, in part, the thoughts that I want to share are in response to a lot of the attitudes that I see, of course, on Facebook. But these attitudes reflect a broader attitude of white conservative Christianity, and then their connection to the culture, patriotism. When we think about America, there is propaganda that we tell. There are things we want to believe. There are things we want to not know. And the picture you see right here is one of the pictures right here. See, we want to celebrate the 4th of July, but we want to do so without the truth of this history, the slaves. And like I oftentimes say, that while the founding fathers were signing the Declaration of the Independence, who was serving? Right? Who was emptying the piss buckets? The urine buckets? Who was serving the food, cleaning the rooms? You see, we like these images right here. And then again, let me just say, I grew up celebrating the 4th of July. My mother was a American holiday celebrated to the umpteenth. Okay? 4th of July, we had fireworks, ribs, the whole shebang. Same thing with Thanksgiving, full spread. Same thing with Christmas. All of the holidays we celebrated to the max. But while we celebrate these kind of images here, we don't like those images. See, we don't like that image. We like this image, right? But we don't like that image. We don't like these images of the reality of our nation. We don't like the reality that while our Constitution was enacted in 1776, they failed miserably to Black American citizens. And this should be told. For centuries, we have told this lie. Right? For centuries, we have told this lie without mentioning slaves. A few years ago, Virginia was celebrating its, I believe, bicentennial. And they did so, now, just so we know, Virginia was ground zero for slavery. And they wanted to celebrate without even mentioning slaves. That's a lie, people. See, remember, 1776 wasn't independence for all. And I'm talking specifically American citizens. By the time that the Declaration of Independence came along, remember, there was some 157 years, there were African slaves born on this soil that should have been granted rights at the signing of the independence, just as there were generations of whites born on this land. By the way, just a sidebar issue. Just a few years later, natural-born citizens were discriminated even against the newly arrived immigration. The immigration, by the way, back in the late 18th century was against European immigrants, Irish, Italian, Polish, right? and it was the natural born. That was kind of the phrase there, but I digress. Here's my thing, and I'm not going to make this long, and I'm going to say, look, we should celebrate this land because here is the good from 1776. The writing was in the Constitution that would later, and I'm going to say 80 years later from 1776, that African Americans would get their freedom. That's the good. The good was that they wrote it in. The bad was that at the time, and by the way, there was much argument, there was much debate over whether or not we should free the slaves. And no matter how you try to rationalize it, they knew they were making a moral, they knew history would look down upon them. They knew this. They talked about it. And in the end, they gave way to, in the name of preserving the colonists. But again, you wrote words that you would say were meaningless. So my point is this: we need to tell the whole entire truth of 1776. We should tell the entire truth of this nation, and we never should just have the celebrating of the flag, the fireworks celebration, without understanding that, hey, there were African Americans that were in change. There were Native Americans that were displaced brutally by this land. We should never, ever cease telling the entire truth of our land. That's my perspective. Enjoy your holiday. And I do mean that sincerely. Enjoy your holiday. And don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. As always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. Till next time, I'll see you then.